Hello, soccer fans, and welcome to Royal Oak, Michigan for USL2 action. We are in the middle of the Great Lakes Division schedule, the fourth home game for Oakland County FC. OCFC welcomes the visiting Lansing City Football Club in the midst of their best start to a USL2 campaign in the midst of the 10th season as a club. Hello and welcome on in. My name is Robert Kerr. Happy to be joined by Mitch Gatzke and the OCFC stream team. Oakland County 4-0 coming into this, topping the Great Lakes Division. A potential banana skin game, as they say. Sights could be distracted by the also undefeated Flint City Bucks coming to the Purple Patch of Royal Oak High School Stadium next Saturday. One of two remaining home games after tonight. But Lansing City, the focus, we have some players in, we have some players out, but that core for Coach Steve Walker is mostly intact. Now I turn it over, Mitch Gatzke, why don't you give us the rundown of tonight's starting 11 against Lansing City?
Yeah, three changes from last Sunday's 4-1 win over Ann Arbor. Rob, Captain Colin Arce, who was named to the USL2's Team of the Month for May, is not in the squad today. He's okay. He's just at a friend's wedding. But Marco Matei, back off ankle injury, steps in for Colin in midfield tonight. Sheikh Atameo exited last Sunday's match just 13 minutes in. Romeo Lumai filled in strongly, and he will start tonight. And the rotation between Braden Stefanovic and Timmy Alos continues. Braden gets the call tonight, having scored off the bench last time out. So your full starting 11 for tonight: Rob Jelai in goal. Across the back line, left to right, will be 13 Mushtaba Al-Hasnawi, 23 Romeo Lumai, 25 Nick Wilson, and 19 Rocco Del Gudice. The center of the park will be patrolled by 8 Marco Matei and 15 Adam McAleenan. On the left wing will be 16 Mateo Correa, keeping his spot after a goal and an assist last weekend. Center attacking mid, the playmaker, 26 Keith Larson, who scored his first goal of the campaign on Sunday. Stepping in on the right is 11 Braden Stefanovic, and leading the line, talisman scorer of 5 goals in 4 games, number 9, Andrew Durakshian.
With the success of the 4-0 start comes accolades. You mentioned Captain Colin Arce, not in tonight's lineup, unnamed, in the Team of the Month. And then Oakland County FC hitting the highest mark to date, number 12 in the nationwide power rankings for the USL2, which includes over 150 teams. So OCFC flying high after the 4-0 start. But Captain or Coach Steve Walker's men can't be distracted by the awards and the accolades. They just got to grind out and continue that winning streak. They've gotten 12 out of 12 so far. Will it be 15 out of 15 available tonight?
Yeah, County off to the 4-0 start in the league for the first time in club history, and with 2 big matches against the division's playoff teams from last year looming in the week ahead, it's crucial to remain focused on these 90 minutes in front of us. This Lansing City team comes in seeking some revenge after Captain Colin Arce's 93rd minute winner in last Thursday's 1-0 win in the state capitol. And yes, it's up to the boys in purple to match that energy tonight and show that they are true contenders in this Great Lakes division.
Yeah, tonight's visitors, Lansing City, haven't played since that Oakland County FC defeat 9 days ago. So they've been stewing on that result for quite some time. And Lansing, they have a new coach this year. Head coach is James Decosemo, his first year for Lansing City. He just finished a good first year as the Central Michigan University's coach. And everybody that went to the game up in Lansing last Thursday said, this is a different breed of Lansing City. It's a club that went winless last year, but every single game that they've participated, win, lose, or draw, has been a 1-goal game. So it might be a very tight affair. In between the anthem and kickoff, we will get our player to highlight, but I do want to note that the second 45 minutes last Sunday was probably one of the best that we've seen from the men in purple. All the folks that we wanted to see score did. Larson got off the mark. Correa contributed a lot. Stevanovic got off the mark. And then the talisman up front, number 9, Andrew Durakshian, kept his hot start going. And all those things combined led to a very impressive performance. And not to mention, I don't want to overlook at the back, getting his first start for County, local led Romeo Lumai. He came in very early at center back as a substitution, but stood out really nicely.
Yeah, you don't see a whole lot of substitutions at center back, generally a position that plays 90 minutes, but injury forced Lumai to step in pretty early on, and he did a wonderful job. That early goal given up to Ann Arbor put County behind the 8 ball for the first time this season, and they were able to claw that back and eventually pull away in that second half. Some really well-played football. You mentioned it, Rob, kind of a shining example of what we can hopefully expect to see going forward. Everybody getting in on the act, spreading the goals around. People are linking well and distributing to their teammates and creating that open space to score those goals. And, yeah, at the back, things have been pretty solid despite some rotation in and out. Hoping to see much of the same here tonight.
Yeah, Marco Matei, number 8, one of the other local returning players, getting his second start of the season. He, of course, started right next to Captain Colin Arce on the opening game. Had a little bit of a knock, but returns to fill in for the captain alongside Anna McAleenan, a very experienced player, has been really solid for County, and he provided Correa with a beautiful assist last week amongst some of the really pretty easy on the eye sequences last week.
I think that goal that you're talking about, that floated ball in to Mateo where he just sort of raised his knee up and boom with the left foot, just tipped it over the keeper, and almost everything just sort of paused for a moment as we waited for that ball to land. It nestles inside netting. I think, Rob, maybe not the best, maybe not the most important, but I think that goal was the prettiest in County history.
It definitely sealed the deal. County went down early. We're kind of on the ropes in the first half hour of the game last week. And then that goal from Larson right before half turned it, and whatever Coach Steve Walker said at halftime really fit the bill. And in the second 45 minutes, an absolute showpiece moment. Anyone that was in the stands here at Royal Oak High School Stadium was treated. Look back at the highlights, I recommend it. But that third goal really went from, they battled back to, I think Oakland County is going to go on to win with the 3 points. But yes, a definite breathless moment, both with the cross from McAleenan, but the finish from Correa did seem to just absolutely hang before it nestled into the back of the net. But tonight, Oakland County FC takes on Lansing City in a must-win in this sprint of a season. Only 12 games in the USL 2's regular season. So think about it like college football. Every single point matters. And then when you're going up against the likes of the Bucks and Midwest United, and in the past, Kalamazoo and Ann Arbor, every single point matters. And to get a guaranteed playoff spot, you have to get in that first place position. And we're also with that second place spot, not guaranteed, have to do better than some teams in one of the other divisions. The teams in the Great Forest division, teams on that side have dropped some points. So Oakland County, if they take care of business, it's in their hands.
It certainly is in their hands. Not quite time to start scoreboard watching and checking standings around USL 2 quite yet because, yeah, it is still all to play for County. They have their destiny in their hands. It's just a matter of continuing to play the football that we've seen from them. We know that they're capable of it. Now it's a matter of executing consistently to put themselves at the top of the heap.
All right. Our PA announcer, Kevin Kramer, is now going to lead in stadium introductions of the Oakland County FC starting 11. Entering the purple patch, who do we have coming out first to give high fives to our walkout kids as well as our mascot, Okie Dokie, in the all purple? I'm sure that's a warm...
It's a wonderful night to be in the mascot costume.
Yeah, that was probably a warm evening there, but all smiles as is always. He's definitely coming into form in a second year as the county mascot.
I think it's silk on the inside, so it cools him down.
I sure
or
hope
her.
so.
We don't
but
know who's in there.
we talked last week about it was a squirrel derby with Oakland County versus Ann Arbor. I think Okie Dokie came out on top there, and the Battle of the Oak definitely in favor of Oakland County FC. Now it looks like we are ready to bring in the Oakland County starting 11 here. And there he is, the veteran goalkeeper amongst the veterans on this side. A much older team than in years past this county. And July, definitely confidence at the back with his veteran status. And there is Mashtaba El-Haznawi. And we'll see a bit of an interview with him at halftime. He's been a fantastic addition. And Romeo Lumai getting his first start for County after a super sub and lengthy substitution appearance last week against Ann Arbor. And Nicholas Wilson, his second start here at home. Took a little bit to get the chemistry in the back line going, but once they found form, County's back line was great last week. And one of the best new players to wear Oakland County's purple, Rocco Del Gudice, has been absolutely outstanding in a couple different defensive positions here in this first half of the season. And then we talked about him already. Matt Kalinin provided a great assist to Correa and has been a solid addition to the core of the team. Marco Matei back in the starting lineup. Him and Arce, the minutes leaders last year for County. Had a little bit of a knock, but he's back in the middle of the park. In this 5-2-3-1 from Steve Walker. And there's Mateo Correa, goal scorer and assist extraordinaire. And then Stevanovic, great to see him get on the scoreboard. He tends to score in bunches, and you'd love to see him break out. And then Keith Larson, he's bagged a hat trick of assists already, and then he got off the mark to equalize last week against Ann Arbor. And what more can we say about the big number 9, Andrew Durakshian, 5 goals in 4 games. It's been an outstanding addition to this County lineup, and may he continue that goal-scoring form. Steve Walker is assisted by Steve Arce, Mike Lupinick, and Mike Sheehy. On the other side for the visitors, head coach James Ticasamo, assisted by Jacob Darby and Michael Slime. We're going to take a minute to respect the national anthem. We'll be underway here from Royal Oak High School Stadium for Oakland County FC versus Lansing City football. Blue, and here we are. Oakland County FC versus Lansing City football is underway. We talked about it a little bit on the introductions of the players, but one of the outstanding new additions to County this year, who has pretty much sealed his spot at left back, Mashtaba El-Haznawi, the number 12. We'll be hearing from him at halftime. One of our media content leads popped over to training this week and got some sound from him. Stevanovic feeds Gudice. Del Gudice's cross, dangerous towards Larson, but headed away from Matei, who is entering the box late. Here come Lansing City football, trying to go very quickly and very directly. Got past one line of purple people eaters, but was eventually squeezed off the ball there. Number 8 for Lansing, Iman Wadraogo. And forgivenesses if that's an incorrect pronunciation.
That had to be the first name that you said, right?
Yeah.
It was always going to be.
But Lumai gets that away, but only as far as a Lansing City player.
And Rob, we will get you that Lansing starting 11 as we settle things in here. But opening minutes, I need County to start a little bit more urgently than last Sunday against Ann Arbor.
Yeah, the first half hour or so were tough, but I think that water break really helped the men in purple. There was a bit of an injury stoppage with with Czech going out, and then after the water break, Steve Walker and his coaching staff really changed the outlook. They started to play more small ball, more overlapping runs, and a little bit more dynamic movement and energy. The long ball trying to go direct to Durakshian or to the outside players wasn't really working, and we're going to get muscled off the ball in the middle of the park. Adjustments were made, and you wouldn't recognize the second half performance from that opening few moments.
Yeah, the strong suit of this County team is the forward play and their ability to dribble, run at defenders, making them make decisions, and we didn't see a whole lot of that in that opening first half hour against Ann Arbor, but the adjustments made by head coach Steve Walker really did work. As you mentioned, things started to click, and everything fell into place. The second half was much improved, and County coming away with a 4-1 win. It's got them at 4-0. And here tonight, again, really the order of the day is not looking ahead with two big games coming up midweek in Grand Rapids against Midwest United, and then the big buck hunt coming up next Saturday against Flint City. But there's business to attend to here tonight, Rob.
Yeah, next week is the USL2 match of the week, so eyeballs farther afield will be tuned in to that match as it's potentially a table-topping matchup, but definitely business to take care of. Bucks in action elsewhere in the state, while County can't overlook those from the state's capital looking for their second win of the season. That one's ruled offside, but just by a hair on direction, looking to get in behind these Lansing defenders. But a nice match day here. This front half of the season definitely front-loaded with home games for County, so only one on the road against this opposition here. Lansing, the only road game, and it was a 1-0 victory, and they're going to have to continue this impressive home form in the back half of the season on the road across the state of Michigan, across this Great Lakes division. But County looking pretty good, 4-0, only having conceded one goal from open play thus far in the season.
You mentioned it just briefly there, Rob. Flint is hosting Midwest right now, so we will be checking in on scores to bring those to you as they are available. Midwest won 4-0 at Macomb on Wednesday. That's the only other game that happened around the division earlier this week. But yeah, it's kind of looking like a showdown between County and Flint. If you're familiar with the two teams, then you'll know that there's a bit of a heated rivalry over the last few years. But
I think that all started with there being the co-champs for 3 years. If you don't know, this is actually a great segue into telling us, the audience, that it is the 10th season for Oakland County FC. And then during our road trips, we want to highlight some of the Purple Faithfuls and newcomers, their favorite memories over the course of 10 years. And one of the biggest moments was pre-pandemic. There was a Michigan Milk Cup competition where Michigan teams from across the state, across different leagues, all played in a cup competition. And in the 2019 edition of the Michigan Milk Cup, it was OCFC hosting Flint City Bucks. But as the teams lined up on that, I think it was 3rd or 4th of July 2019, an unholy thunderstorm rolled in at the opening whistle, and the game never happened. Couldn't find a rescheduled date. Then, of course, 2020 happened, didn't have a season, and it took a little while to get another game happening. So co-champions of the Michigan Milk Cup for 2 or 3 years led to a little bit of friction between fan bases, and then we've been division rivals ever since, and there's been some tightly contested games between the two. And eventually, post-pandemic, Oakland County FC got their singular victory over the Flint City Bucks in a league game that doubled as that. It almost seemed like it was never going to happen. The final that finally happened was the one win for Oakland County FC, and what a glorious moment that was if we look back through the book of Oakland County history.
Indeed, Rob, and right now we've got County on the attack. Braden
There's
keeping that ball in.
trucking through down the left-hand side, tries to square it, and the Lansing City defense able to do enough. But enough talk about next week. The first shot of the match was in favor of Oakland County FC moments ago when I was spinning my yarn, and we'll see our first corner of the match. And it was started as kind of an ironic chant, but has become a mainstay, the County faithful cheering for corners. And Captain Colin Arce not here tonight, but has provided a number of dangerous services from here. What can McAleenan provide with his right boot? And that was dangerous, had to be punched away. And that was Alexander Heisch, the number 1 in orange, the goalkeeper for Lansing, called upon for the second time. Looks like that's actually going to be a goal kick. I thought he punched that out of bounds, but maybe it deflected off of a County body on the way out behind the goal there. But at this moment, I'm going to take a little bit of a moment to share a word from the title sponsor for Oakland County FC, one of the longest-standing and most ardent supporters of Oakland County Football Club, diversified members, credit union, where they're proud to represent and be your local credit union. But we'll come back to that in a second. But that is Nick Wilson doing really well to come across, help his teammates out, and put that out for a goal kick. But Diversified Members Credit Union is your local credit union. Upgrade your life from kitchens, weddings, vacations, more. Help make it real. Visit the DMCU tent in the concourse when you're at a game, or visit dmcu.com for more information. As County need to defend their first corner of the match. Looking into the sun is Rob Jelli and his defending teammates. Hopefully that not a factor. A lot of black shirts rushing in there, but the service doesn't find a Lansing head, but there were a number of black shirts in the area. I don't think anyone could see that ball floating with the sun coming in at a kind of a lower angle right behind the grandstands here at Royal Oak High School Stadium, still with the visitors on the far side. We're sticking to the visitors' feet along the touchline, sent in diagonally, and the float on the ball permitted veteran goalkeeper Rob Jelli to come out and snag that with some calm and authority. Here's Matei. Has space to turn. Finds Larson. Is able to spin away from a defending player. Across midfield comes the towering Larson. He's looking for the run of Duraxian, but there was plenty of defenders in the area. Stefanovic harries the visiting Lansing player, but Lansing able to pick up their head.
Obviously
find some options.
Obviously not the final ball that Larson would have wanted on that, but how good is that turn to create that space, and he just flows through the midfield to open things up.
Yeah, in just a few strides, he had gained 15, 20 yards across the middle of the park there. And, yeah, just maybe with another attempt or two, he'll find the right pass. Here he is on the right-hand side. Larson again. Number of assists on the year. Can he get on his left foot? He tries to thread it through, looking for Correa there. Yeah, Lansing able to get in the way of that.
That was a really good idea, but well done by the defender to cut that one out. Would have been trouble.
On the graphic, it says that the men in purple are rocking a 4-2-3-1. We've seen a lot of kind of track meet sort of games here, especially in the first half when the energy and the adrenaline surging, kind of end-to-end stuff. But we've seen County score through kind of methodical build-up as well as fast breaks.
The brilliance about the formation that Steve Walker uses is the adaptability and the amoeba-type style that these guys can work with. Picking each other up, making different runs, switching positions. It makes it really hard to defend. You oftentimes see those wingers, or even Larson on that last one, perfect example. Those guys who are technically forwards will step into the midfield to allow the defenders to make an easy pass, and then Larson showed you exactly what he can do on the turn, opening things up. It's really been the key to success for County in these opening 4 games.
Clearance from Mushtaba El-Haznawi. A few moments ago, there was a nice sequence that was completely reversed instantly, and it was crossfield ball from Duraxian, and a really nice touch forward from Del Gadice that was undone. Let's see if Del Gadice can get past again there. Unable to do so, but still with McAleenan, who banks it off of the Lansing number 10, Liam Zimmerman. We should also shout out a former Oakland County player rocking the number 17 for the visitors, Nathan Casal. Played a little bit for County in 2024.
Good to see him, Rob, but I'm hoping he has a very quiet night tonight.
Yeah, for the impartial, we'll say that, but for the neutral Michigan Soccer Observer, worth noting there. I'll say this last couple of years, watching the early rounds of the Open Cup, it's been kind of a proud moment of, oh, we've had him on our team, and it's thus the kind of a stepping stone that the team can serve to players trying to move their way into the professional world.
Shout out to Alex DeLue getting a start for Detroit City FC tonight, former county lad.
Yeah, and he had a couple bangers in the Open Cup too, speaking of catching former Oakland County FC players doing stuff in the pros. And he had a great shout out. He was in the local paper, and he was talking about how he enjoyed scoring against the Bucks in the Open Cup for Detroit this time.
Not a bad effort there on that attempted shot, but I think County will live with that. They'll let Lansing take those shots from outside the box. And, hey, if one of those goes in, you tip your cap. But generally speaking, County will live with those. That was Udraogo again. He's been the action man so far. Let's give you the rest of the lineup here quickly. Rob Alexander Heitch in goal. You mentioned him a little bit earlier. Number 2 is Ali Kurbanali. 3 is Aiden Antcliffe. They pass the ball around at the back there. Number 8 is Iman Udraogo, as we mentioned. 10, Liam Zimmerman. 13, Drew Rensing. 16 is Adrian Castillo. 14, is Johnny Torres. 17, Nathan Casal. We mentioned him.
That was a meg there. Marco Matei just spun and megged a Lansing defender. Go on.
21, Ben Johns, and 22, Joaquim Cardoso round out the starting 11 for Lansing.
Here's Stefanovic. Gets on the end of a nice diagonal ball, pushed back by the visitors for a moment. Nice idea trying to link back up with Delgadice, getting ahead of Stefanovic there. Unable to quite link it up, but great to see the guys working like that, and you see those ideas, and that one's intercepted well, and Al Hasnawi's out of position. Matei trying to cover for him. And Nick Wilson gets a nice big right boot in the way to break that one up. County's defensive record, a big part of this early season success. County have only conceded twice. One was a long-range bing-bong free kick that I don't know if any goalkeeper at this level was keeping that out. And then last week, Ann Arbor scored first, but County able to turn it around 4-1. And a couple clean sheets have really come in handy, and you have to do that if you're going to, tack up wins in a row. And here comes Correa, got in behind the defense. Goalie is retreating. Can the number 16 pull out some magic? He's trying to get on his right boot. He gets into the box, right-footed strike, and it stings the palms of the Lansing goalkeeper, Alexander Heitch. And that got the crowd out of their feet, onto their feet for a moment there when he cut inside. It opened up for him, but ended up reaching a little bit by the time he was able to get his strike away.
I think initially when he cut in, his thought was to find someone to pass to, and all of a sudden it opened up more, and he decided he had the space to have a go at goal. He's been really active so far early on.
Lansing, like we said, they've only got one win, but every single game they've played has been decided by just a singular goal. So they've been playing it tight, not the results of last year where Lansing were not very competitive in many of their games. Different story this year. New coaching, definitely more organized, and definitely the competitive nature of the team is much different. As here come County. Can they go quickly, trying to look for the run of Larson? Larson can make up ground. He gets there, tries a shot from a tight angle. The defender puts it behind for another County corner. For a moment there, it looked like Larson had no chance of getting to that, but ended up with those long strides, getting there well ahead of the defender.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times now, so we shouldn't be surprised, but it does seem like he is deceptively quick. Defenders just don't account for that sort of speed coming out of the large package that Keith Larson is, and he uses his acceleration to his advantage routinely to gain those yards where defenders are confident that they have him in a space where he's not going to do any damage. And then 2 steps, all of a sudden, he is presenting a problem.
What can County do from this one? Left-footed delivery, header, falls to a County player. And that might have even been, that was Nick Wilson that it fell to. Kind of bounced off of him, sent back in. It'll come to the far stick. I think that's Matei looking into the sun, looking for a purple teammate. Sent in, back post, and that's going to be over the head of everyone. Can Durakshian get there? He does.
Oof.
Late whistle there, and the linesman on the far side gets his binoculars out and calls that out of bounds on the other side of the goal there. Durakshian claims he got there. Looked like it from our vantage point. But there you go. That's a goal kick for the visitors to relieve some pressure on them, which was mounting over the last few minutes.
You mentioned all 4 games for Lansing so far have been decided by just 1 goal. They opened the season with a 1-0 win at Midwest, followed that up with 2-1 losses at Flint and at Ann Arbor, and then last time out, a 1-0 loss to County in this reverse fixture last Thursday.
Wilson has to do some defending. It is bailed out there, kind of goes unchallenged as the Lansing player was unable to keep that inside the yellow border lines we play with here at Royal Oak High School Stadium. I'm curious if folks here have the World Cup fever. We're just days away from World Cup 2026. Can you believe it? Do you have the World Cup fever, Mitch?
I've got County fever. It's hard to believe that World Cup is coming right up. I've been so focused on Oakland County FC, I haven't even really taken the time to look at that World Cup. But
I can't lie. I'm in the same boat as County, looking to build here. Stevanovic, long busting run, but I think he's going to get flagged for offside. And eventually the whistle does come, and a little bit of
he tried to play it off like he wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, but they don't immediately blow the whistles, the officials anymore. They wait until a player kind of gets in the way, but everyone kind of went half speed expecting the whistle, which could have actually allowed Durakshian to get in behind there. But offside the call, maybe if, I think it was it Larson who supplied that pass? Maybe if they saw him a second earlier, they could have got him before he went offside. But Stevanovic always thinking direct, always trying to sneak in behind with his pace and power. And we were able to see him get on the board for the first time in 2026 last week. That second 45 minutes against Ann Arbor really couldn't have asked for much more. I mean, all the guys we want to see hit the back of the net did, and turned around the result from going down early and end up putting it out of question over the last 20 minutes of the match. But defending to be done. County trying to keep Lansing at bay here in the first 20 minutes, and that's some good team defending between Al-Haznawi and Matei. They take care of business. Matei's outlet pass, though, intercepted.
Getting a little frantic here. Let's get back
there
on
was,
the ball.
I think, a nonverbal drat after that pass was intercepted. Definitely some reactions from the players and the fans, but the offside flag comes up on that. Eyebrows went up for a second with the Lansing player getting in on the end of a dangerous-looking ball, but ruled to be offside there.
I don't think, generally speaking, you mentioned earlier, Lansing's certainly a different outfit this year than they have been in years past, but I still don't think their MO is going to be those long balls looking to use their speed in behind. County just has too much speed in defense. You know, there's not a whole lot of openings that are going to be there for Lansing. I expect them to be more compact, try to keep this a low event contest because the more goals that are scored, I think it just benefits County.
Yeah, the thing of the past, center backs being beaten for pace, as Matei, another turn to do one on Lansing, but his pass goes astray again. But he's feeling it with his touches on the ball as the number 8 in purple. Yeah, and you'd love to see some flair from the players. Flair used to good use. It's great to see.
You could tell they're enjoying themselves when they're out there, and they're the flicks and tricks, and they're having fun. They're linking up with their teammates. Nobody's making selfish moves. Things are flowing. There's good mojo in the team right now, and you really just got to continue that good feeling.
Yeah, a sign of that good feeling is the early return of Travis Ward. He's on the bench tonight, but team wasn't expecting him to come back from TST for a couple weeks and actually bumped up his schedule to get back in the team as soon as he possibly could. On the bench tonight, but to your point of there being a good team vibe and a big-time competitive spirit in this group, we will have a halftime intermission interview with number 12, El Hasnawi, and everyone that went to training this week said that everybody is locked in, and it's one of the most intense weeks of training that they've seen when observing county. So it's great to see things galvanizing and the cultivation of a competitive group.
Everybody's willing to work hard when you're winning, right? It's tough when you're taking loss after loss, game after game. You're coming into training and the vibe just isn't right. Nobody's feeling themselves.
But everyone's feeling on point as this an awkward header from the Lansing forward that doesn't present any immediate threat. El Hasnawi sends it down the line towards Direction. Direction heads it towards Larson, who's able to poke it away from one player, but has it taken away by the next. Here's, that was Casal, dished it wide. And they'll recycle back, looking for some runners out wide to each direction. All the way back, though, to the defensive core, trying to find some space to find a pass. Not a lot of movement ahead of the ball. A lot of numbers for Lansing, but not a lot of movement, a lot of static visitors.
Speaking of Lansing numbers, not real easy to read, are they, on the back of the jersey with the blue on blue?
Yeah, blue on blue graphics.
It looks cool, but in practice.
Yeah, what looks good on the street when you're wearing it as a casual compared to dudes far away up in the press box are two different things. Teams all up and down the sporting ladder struggle with that sometimes. You see some big-time teams with some color clashes like that, so I won't give them too hard of a time. It is a nice design, but the baby blue numbers on the baby blue horizontal streaks, and that's kind of a funny contrast with County's vertical stripes. County wearing their second choice kit here at home. Right-footed delivery from this free kick. And I think that did hit a Lansing player. The linesman really wasn't sure with his call. He kind of looked for the eyes of the referee to help him make his decision. Ball seemed to go into a mass of bodies there. Did get pretty close to a Lansing player. From our vantage, it looked like it came off a Lansing player, but it is ruled a corner. Kicking left-footed delivery right in front of the county concourse there, and that's headed away at the back post. Long-range rip, but closed down excellently by Rocco Del Giudice, Mitch Gatzke's player to watch today, and has fit the bill here through 25 minutes.
Early cross for Rocco. He got involved in the attack, and that the biggest defensive contribution so far here tonight. We'll see if Lansing has a long throw. They're kind of lining up like this is going to get flung into the 6.
Into a mass of bodies, and Rob Jelli, the veteran county keeper, did excellently. Here's trying to restart a quick counterattack, but maybe to the chagrin of his teammates. But great catch there by the keeper in green, who came through a big crowd of players, friendly and foe, to come and grab that.
It was an excellent job to come claim that in that crowd. And, yeah, as he went to spring that attack, he's still talking with the center official. He did not like that no call. He wanted some interference as he went to kick that ball clear. You could tell he didn't get all that he wanted on it. He thought maybe there was some contact. A couple other county players were suggesting it, but the referee says no, go.
So we're back underway here. 27 minutes into fourth home game and fifth overall game of this 12-game USL 2 season. as Larson breaks through the midfield, breaks off from a foul, playing advantage. Here's Stevanovic chopping inside, left-footed strike. It's low and hard, but right into the hands of the Lansing City goalkeeper. But there's that elusiveness and the power from big Keith Larson. The number 26 really is a change maker, a game breaker, and just didn't quite get the venom on that, did Stevanovic. But great to see the attacking thrust from County there, and that one might fall to Duraxian. It's kind of been stood up there between a couple different players, but it breaks for Lansing, who try to go fast down the right-hand channel. Jelai is going to get tested. He gets there. Bouncing ball, and it comes back to him. The referee blows his whistle. Linesman's flag went up. What's the call here? There's a lot of pointing and yelling. A lot of conversation to be had here between the linesman and the center referee. Jelai, the county keeper, blocked it, but there was some contact between the player and the keeper. Let's keep our eyes focused on our center referee and what will the call be. And the players on the field calling for medical assistance.
Yeah, whatever the call might be, it's going to be Udraogo who's going to need some attention here as he went down pretty hard. Rob came out just in time to collect that ball, and there was a pretty heavy collision. I didn't see a foul. I think Rob did get the ball as he was intending to, but
skipping back in the stream a couple seconds, it did look like Rob saved the shot, and then the players clattered into each other there, and we're just about the halfway mark. I'm not sure if we're at that official heat barrier, but the players taking advantage of this break in action to go get water. So while we have a little bit of a break in action, I'll let you know about one of the other major partners and sponsors of Oakland County Football Club. Located in Clawson, Michigan, Weiss Distilling Company brings the wow factor to Metro Detroit with their organic and additive-free spirits. Look out for the best shot of the match during today's game. The Weiss shot of the match presented by Weiss. Look out for that. How's it going, those at home? This is Robert Kerr. He's Mitch Gatzke. How you feeling? We're in the booth here at the Purple Patch of Royal Oaks High School Stadium, and we're a bit of a hydration break here in the booth. 0-0 the score line. What are your thoughts here as we kind of have a little bit of a quarter break here in tonight's match?
County have had the better chances so far, but there have been a couple of moments where the defense has been tested by the issues that Lansing presents. I think overall head coach Steve Walker will be happy with his team's performance and say, hey, just keep digging in, keep doing more of the same. We know the attacking cadence that we want to use, activate those wings, use the space, make them defend the entire field, create those lanes, get those slashing runs, 1-2 in the back of the net. It's worked on a number of occasions, and I think it's just a matter of time here tonight.
Yeah, players getting hydration on the field. I'm sweating it out up here in the press box, and it looks like the players are starting to head back to the field, but it looks like a decent turnout here at Royal Oak High School Stadium. A warm early June evening. The grandstand below us nicely in the shade. Folks, only a couple brave souls on the other side sitting in the glaring sun. But it looks like our injured player is back onto his feet. He's gotten a little bit of light medical attention, but I think just a coming together is what it's going to be ruled as. There definitely doesn't seem to be the consternation of there being a possible penalty or anything like that. I feel like there would have been some more heated conversations, but it looks like it'll be a restart in favor of the hometown team as we hear some music pop in, and that must be the Chick-fil-A Cluck for Bucks happening here. Will we get anyone up and dancing to get some coupons for chicken? Oh, there's a couple kids
down there.
And we are back underway, 0-0 the score line. Looking to get in behind Duraxian in a foot race. And that one is sent high and hard and into the adjacent field.
Interesting one there. Larson was on, and he's saying to direction, hey, just let that roll in. I was on. I would have had it. It was kind of a two players in a similar spot situation, and either one of them could have got the ball. Direction left just a tad early. But again, County using their speed to their advantage. And Lansing still trying to find the distance on those long balls to measure them, but I don't think they're going to have much success. We've seen Al-Hasnawi and Delgadice really lock down the wingback positions.
Here's Draxian on the chase, him sort of place on the field. Draxian using his strength there to get on that. A real battle going on in that far corner. Can he make anything of this? I think he might win himself a free kick. And wow, what a battle we had there. Not the tallest, but definitely one of the strongest. Number 9, leading the way for Oakland County FC.
Yeah.
You can see part of how he's gotten as many goals as he has. He's got that fight, and he's got that frame and the aggression to get in on those balls like that.
That's exactly right. And it's not, his game is not just goal scoring, poaching in the box, tapping in, you know, from 6 yards out. He is making those runs. He's standing up the play. He brings a lot more to the table than just banging in goals. But he does that too.
I was going to say, but we definitely enjoy his output there. This is sent into the box, header, and that is in the back of the net. Andrew Duraxian does it again. His 6th goal in 5. He won the free kick, and then he finished it all off. 1-0 Oakland County Football Club.
I mean, there it is. There's that man again. He cannot be stopped. He's not tall by any stretch. He must have some kind of jump, because we've seen now, what is that, 3 headed goals, at least 2 headed goals, where he just rises above defenders and hangs in the air long enough to get the correct contact to navigate headers past diving keepers. Andrew Duraxian.
Wonderful to see the go-ahead goal in the 34th minute. There had been some half chances. County had been applying some pressure, but hadn't quite gotten that final touch, and they finally do. Another first half go-ahead goal, and the 6th goal in 5 games from local lad Andrew Duraxian. He applies his trade collegiately at Michigan State University, but he's definitely gotten comfortable banging them in purple. County with the lead. Can they build on it? And can they do more and see it out? But plenty more to go. 10 minutes plus stoppage time here in the first half, and a big 45 minutes to come. It was a tale of 2 halves last week. We shall see how it plays out this time around, but it's gotten off to a good start. Here's Larson stepping in front of that one. He's fouled, and he fought through the foul, but the referee wasn't patient enough with playing advantage. There was Correa to his left, Duraxian to his right, but the referee pulled it back and robbed us of a breakaway.
16, Adrian Castillo, who earned all of that yellow card.
Yeah, he had a couple fistfuls of Keith Larson's number 26.
Yeah, Larson was still pulling away from him. Castillo just would not let go of the jersey. It's a smart play. You're only going to get a yellow card in that situation. If you're going to make the foul, you might as well make it count, stop the play, because that's all he's trying to do there. He understands that his team turned it over in a bad spot. He's got defenders running back toward their goal. He has to stop that play.
Can McAleenan float one in? Mazzei plays short. Al-Hasnawi curls one, and somehow that doesn't go in. I think that was Romeo Lumai with the touch, and it went all the way across the face of goal and not into the gaping net. A couple players had a chance at that. What a delivery by Al-Hasnawi, a teaser, but unable to be tapped in. It remains 1-0 somehow here in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Put it in a perfect spot, and I think the only reason that's not a goal is it's Romeo Lumai. Nothing against him. It's just not what he does. Doesn't often find himself in those positions. Had it been a forward more accustomed to those scenarios, we're probably looking at 2-0 County.
Oh, I bet Mushtaba El-Haznawi thought that he was going to get an assist to his name there. Durakshian was close. Lumai got the touch. Just a whisker away from the second of this opening 45 minutes. If you're just joining us here, we're about 20 minutes north of the city of Detroit in Great Lakes Division action. USL 2 summer of 2026 underway in County. It's one of the best starts ever, and definitely the best during the USL League 2 era, during the 10th season of Bleeding Purple here in Michigan. And Lumai able to step in front of that one, but it goes out into touch. Throw in, trying to get in over Lumai. Wilson does well to back his teammate up.
Yeah, really well done there.
McAleenan gets it to the side. Mushtaba up the wing, but only as far as the number 16, Castillo. Here's Cardoso over to the far side in front of the county bench. County bench is staring into the sun there. I can see why the majority of folks that come to Royal Oak High School Stadium on match days sit in this grandstand below us here, nice and shaded.
Well, and they want to hang out with the Elmwood Elite.
That too. Well, that's a big part of why Elmwood Elite are on this side. Is they don't want to stare in the sun over there. And Lansing player hits the deck as the county defense kind of redirected.
You just shepherd him out of bounds.
Yeah, shepherd. That's the right word, I'd say. Just shepherd him out into a harmless area and eventually dribbled out into touch. And Rob Jelai unfettered there in that sequence of play.
Yeah, so
Here's
much.
Durakshian tips it to Larson. Switches feet, has it poked away, but it remains with County. Mushtaba El-Haznawi feeds it to the goal scorer. What a turn there, and it does go over that yellow line. Narrow pitch played a part there in it going out of bounds, and the kick away. I think there was some good diplomacy from Durakshian to get out of that one, playing nice with the referee, and definitely a referee in poor spirits might have given him a yellow card for kicking that away.
That is true. If it was a rainy day, that might have been a yellow. Beautiful day like tonight, though. Gets away with it.
Warm evening, light breeze, 1-0 to the home team. So far, so good as the clock crests 40 minutes as Correa glides by one Lansing player. Crossfield ball to Stevanovic. What does he choose to do? He floats it towards Correa, who heads it. And that is another floating goal from Correa, and 2-0 Oakland County Football Club.
Mateo Correa. What a finish. That was almost identical to the one from last Sunday against Ann Arbor. This time with the head, nestles into that far corner almost the same exact way. And Rob, we were standing here frozen for a second to see if that would end up in the back of the net. It does. 2-0 County.
The ball eventually did fall into the back of the goal to our left. The flag stayed down from the linesman, and the purple smoke is flying. And before the halftime break, County gets a second goal. And
Pretty stuff. Pretty stuff.
yeah, another heart in the mouth moment. Will the ball actually fall into the goal? I think the goalie, he's having an inquest with his defenders here, and he looked flummoxed how Correa was able to get his head on that and how that nestled ever so gently into the back of that. 2-0 here between County and Lansing City.
It's just a perfect finish again because the keeper has to come out to try to make a play. Otherwise, Correa just taps in at that near post, but instead draws that keeper out off his line and heads it just over top of his reach. Nestles into that bottom corner.
When Stevanovic cut in and decided to pass, I wasn't quite sure about the decision, But Correa obviously answered that question with aplomb. Some pretty stuff there for the second as Lansing tried to reply. Long range effort is well wide there. Lansing trying to have a say here in the opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, and at this point, just a couple of minutes ahead of the halftime whistle, albeit with some stoppage time included. The mission here for County is to get this lead into the break, keep it at 2-0. 3-0 would be great, but most importantly, do not concede before the break here. That'll completely change the calculations. But right now, at halftime team talk is going to be very positive. Keep up the good work, boys.
Yeah, I'm curious what Coach Steve Walker will say. Last week was a tale of two halves. County able to claw back and hang on. They were down much of that first half, 1-0, able to equalize before the half. Steve Walker able to give his directions and produce a wonderful second half performance where they turned it right around from 1-1 at the break to a 4-1 final score. Up 2-0 here. What does he say? Try to maintain or go for more? With some of the tiebreakers that could come into play, points per game and goals scored amongst the tiebreakers.
And that's a great point. We should mention, Rob, that Flint, their last time out hung 7 on Kalamazoo. So should those tiebreakers come into play, they are at a bit of an advantage with that result from just a couple of days ago.
About a minute until stoppage time here in the first 45 minutes. 2-0 the scoreline. Andrew Durakshian opened it up in the 34th minute with a beautiful header, and then Mateo Correa with another nestled head finish in the 41st minute brings us to the 2-0 scoreline here.
This is the exact kind of free kick spot that you do not want to have right now. Kind of a silly foul there. Not a lot of contact. I don't think I agreed with the official's decision, but either way, you can't put yourself in this position. This is dangerous.
Jelai is going to have to be strong here. Does he see it in the sun? He does, and gets his body over to his left well to catch that comfortably, but there was some concern about that ball being in the sun getting lower and lower behind the grandstand, but definitely in the faces of players looking towards us. Was that another offside flag?
It was called as such.
Called as such against Stevanovic, it seems, and Lansing go quickly to get this back underway, and we are now in first half stoppage time. So at the break, you'll get to see a few moments with outstanding left back for County, number 12, Mushtaba El Haznawi. One of our content leads here this season. Second season with County. Aiden Sawyer went to training and got the Dearborn local on some of his favorite players growing up, favorite player now, what this early season success has meant to him, and kind of his path to County. So stay tuned to halftime for that, and then obviously keep it locked in for the second 45 minutes as Correa kind of stuck in between shot and cross there, able to get that centered, but too close to Heitch in the Lansing goal. And a big collision there. There's number 8. He went down earlier in the game, and that seems silly to get a yellow card. That seemed like the player ran straight into his chest.
Yeah, I will say Iman Udraogo is kind of just flying around looking for contact. He did it on the far side a few minutes ago. He just did it a couple of minutes ago. He does it
contact
there.
with the
Contact
goalkeeper.
with Rob.
So now the aforementioned El Haznawi on a yellow card, which didn't seem like a situation that was his fault in any way, but you have to keep that in mind as this game develops. Here's Correa, steps in front of one, and that's a huge collision there. Number 14 put all of his hip and knee into the County player.
Got another yellow card here. I'm not sure who
I think that was given
for.
to Marco Matei for, and there's a red for the number 14 for Lansing. So there's a yellow card for the quick restart, and then Castillo got the red for the collision. And we might be getting some more.
Castillo got the first yellow, so I think that's his second yellow ending in a red, but he didn't present a second yellow to Castillo that I saw. Either way, we're going to have to get a debrief from the officials here at halftime. There was a yellow shown to maybe Marco Matei, maybe it was Udraogo, and then there was a red brandished.
So this number 14 stepped in really hard against Correa. I'm not sure if he was already on a yellow, and the yellow came across to, I think, Matei for trying to start quickly.
It seemed like
it. And then a straight red.
A straight red to a player that already had a yellow, as far as I can tell.
So everything kind of popping off here in the closing moments of the first half.
We're going to need some clarification.
And with everything that transpired, it seems that at least one of the teams is going to be short a player. Lumai is going to the bench solely for water. So no confusion there, but it seems the Lansing player for sure got the red card. So down 2 goals and down a man, it seems the hill that the visitors will be climbing for the second 45 minutes of this one. So it was the 16 that looks like he's marching off the field, but I'm not sure if that was even the player who came in hard. I thought it was the 14 of Torres that came in really physically there with Correa. And then, but 16 getting his marching orders. So
it's Adrian Castillo who is walking off a little bit ahead of halftime here. And yeah, Lansing will be down to 10 men for the rest of the game. Down 2 goals already. Certainly not looking good for them.
So we'll have to do some investigation during halftime, try to get some clarification from the match officials to who all got what in that melee. And it wasn't too intense of a game before that flare-up. But no. I think the call, the number 8 kind of started all that when the Lansing number 8 drew the yellow from El Haznawi, and then there was almost like a prove it to me sort of a moment. How am I going to get the next yellow? And it escalated from there. We'll get that all cleaned up. But after 45 minutes, the hometown team, Oakland County FC 2, visiting Lansing City Football 0. And stay tuned with us at halftime. We have interview with number 12, Mushtaba El Haznawi. And, of course, the second 45 minutes from Royal Oak, Michigan. Stay with us to the referee. And we are underway. The second half of action between Oakland County FC, who has 2 goals to the visitors' 0 here, and County in their purple and white stripes, going from left to right here in the second period of play. And that early ball from Matei, who had oohed and awed a couple of the crowd members with his turns and touches. He's back in the lineup. First start since opening week, and he's done well. But that first opening pass towards Rocco Del Giudice, Mitch's player to watch, the number 19. So it's into touch first restart of this second half. That's towards Larson. And he tries to head it towards direction. It comes off of Larson's hip. He's in on goal, left-footed strike. A thunderbolt, but a bit too high, and hits the football post. But there again is Larson at full speed, able to get behind these Lansing defenders, and just a little bit more accuracy would have made it 3 here in the first minute of the second half.
Dragshane and Larson are so good combining like that, just getting a little something on the ball to knock it into the path of their teammate, and they know just how good they are on the ball, and they're able to control those bouncing balls. Larson, just in that instance, I think certainly popped it up, but I think that ball would have been bouncing off the turf as he went to strike it.
Yeah, they're working on a little bit of a symbiosis, Larson and Jiraction. Neither of them hit it cleanly, but in each other's paths with the touches, and it led to a shooting opportunity for Larson.
And it comes with playing together. You just sort of understand the movement and the way that guys like to be fed the ball, and the more reps that you get at it, the easier it becomes.
Here's Stevanovic. Who can he find? And that's towards direction. Another left-footed strike just off target. But these county attacking players licking their chops at the extra space as Lansing City are, of course, playing this entire second half at a one-man disadvantage.
Yeah, they're certainly starting to pin their ears back, are the boys in purple, and they're having some fun out there. They are utilizing that space, and the diagonal balls have been a problem for Lansing to defend.
Here's a little bit of space and another Meg from Matei. He tips it to Larson, who finds Stevanovic in space on the right-hand side, going one-on-one with the defender, goes onto his right foot, strike, and misses it on the near side. And that's 3 attempts on goal within the first 3 minutes of the second half. And you feel County are turning the screw here a bit.
Well, and it's interesting, from what we can see here, the early minutes here of the second half, it looks like, even though they're down to 10 men, Lansing only playing with 3 defenders.
Yeah, they certainly seem outnumbered. Here's Durakshian. He's not going to get to that before the on-rushing Alexander Heitch. But yeah, they seem like just Castillo is missing, and they're just playing without that defensive player at the back.
That position is gone rather than that player. And usually you'll see a defender come in to shore things up.
Here's the aforementioned number 8, who was very busy, and that took maybe a deflection. Rob Jelli watched that soar past him, but fortunately for the purple at heart, went beyond that far stick. The first real moment of danger on County's goal here in the second half, and probably since the early goings of the game.
Nervy moment for sure. Everybody kind of paused as that ball deflected and knuckled past the goal.
County having to defend a corner here after sigh of relief of that shot going around the wide of the post. The visiting goalkeeper up at the halfway mark. Keep an eye on that.
Here he comes.
He's going to play this one.
Going to try to. Is he going to get there in time?
No, he's going to let that.
Really interesting.
Going to play like kind of indoor style where you try to make up the numbers with the goalkeeper in the attacking half, but a dangerous game to play.
Considering what happened at TSD, Rob, I don't want to talk about keepers playing out of their goal.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get too specific with that, but Larson, they try to wrap him up again, but he prods it forward, and eventually the whistle does come. Larson unhappy with that. I'm not sure if he wanted to play advantage on that one again, but his pass wasn't going to reach Stevanovic before the goalkeeper, and we're underway again anyway. But Larson getting frustrated with being held back as he's trying to get around these Lansing players. What can Stevanovic find? He's got Shirts ahead of him. He lofts it towards Larson. That bounces up off of his forehead. But Larson in plenty of space in the middle of the goal there. Stevanovic found him, but just couldn't quite get the header on target.
A little bit too much on that cross attempt for Larson. And I think his gripe with the referee on that last call is that it wasn't a quicker call and a yellow. Advantage was a possibility, but he was really getting held, and that's pretty much an identical foul from the one we saw on Castillo's first yellow at the 36-minute mark. So Lansing are looking a little bit leggy and certainly going to be mostly defending.
A lot of space here, 2 County players. Here's Larson on the end of that one, his strike. Wide, narrow here, and a bit of a shooting gallery in this first 5 minutes of the second half, but County unable to hit the frame. Heisch under duress, but hasn't really had to work as Larson's fired a couple wide and Durakshian at least one more. And I'm sure the Elmwood Elite and the County fans to the right-hand side of us here in the booth would absolutely love to celebrate a goal in front of their section.
This is the white shot of the man.
And in the stands, the Weiss Distillers shot of the match. Getting something local and premium. This week it looks like a OCFC ball, but by the end of the match, we'll declare our own shot of the match from the action on the field.
We've got some contenders tonight, Rob.
two wonderfully finished headers. The difference here, Durakshian with the opener, his 6th of the season, and Correa in the 41st. Another looping, gentle finish from the left-sided attacker. We'll see if we have any more to consider as Delgadice blocks that one and headed away by Al-Haznawi. Prodded towards Larson, deflected away. Lansing have a bit of an overload on that side. You will need to take advantage of those moments if you're going to try to get back in the game. They're facing pretty much the entire second half plus a couple minutes down a player. So the moments where you do get the ball up the field with numbers forward, they have to take advantage of it if they are trying to get back into this. Long throw. Nick Wilson tried to come head that away. Some contact there. No whistle from our center referee. Stevanovic looks to throw quickly, but holds off. And this plays it short to Delgadice. No need to play unnecessarily fast here and get yourself in a pickle.
That's exactly right. With a 2-goal lead and a man advantage at home, the key here for the rest of the match is not to lose control. There's no reason to let Lansing even get a glimmer of hope.
Here comes County. Correa tried to cut inside of his defender, but kind of gets caught up, and Matei almost stepped in front of that one, and this is going to have to be dealt with, but a late offside flag saves any blushes that may have come from that. The Lansing visiting attacking player disagrees with that offside call, but County fans will be more than okay with that. That's at number 8, Iman Uedrago.
He's been the target man for sure. A lot of Lansing's attack has come through him along that right-hand side, on the far side now, but in the first half, he was really the outlet pass that they were looking for to free up things and get moving forward.
I've really enjoyed Matei's game tonight. He's had some nice touches. Larson finds his way over to Durakshian. Right-footed cross, and Delgadice got on the end of that but couldn't get that on frame, and that's becoming the theme of this second half is lots of opportunities, not a lot of finishes just yet.
And everybody's being a good teammate right now. They're spreading the ball around. Everybody gets a touch, gets a look at goal. But there's going to come a time here where you got to start making this pressure and these chances count. It's only a 2-goal advantage.
Stepped in front of that one. Maybe this is where it comes. Here's Durakshian, just a step too far ahead of the onrushing number 9. To your point, is at some point you don't want to get frustrated or give any heart to the visitors that these chances are going unfinished. Here's Stevanovic in an acre of space. Got teammates on the back post. Correa, and that's on the outside of the netting as well. Chance after chance hitting outside the frame of the Lansing goal.
A lot of warning shots.
A whole lot of warning shots. I don't think anyone's playing defense on Stevanovic or anyone down this right-hand channel. There's not even anyone playing on this side.
It is very odd that they haven't switched to bring on another defender.
Hoping that their offense gets them back into the game, but that isn't the creative move to unlock the County.
And I can understand it. You're down 2. You have to present some problems for the opposition as well. You have to get some chances to get yourself 2 goals to even draw level and earn 1 point. But it starts with being solid at the back, and right now they aren't.
Floating ball towards Correa. He's on it, trying to get on his right foot. Strike, and that one's over as well. They're having the pick of the litter there. There was multiple options for Matei to pass to. He chose the floater to Correa, which looked like a good one, and Correa able to get in on his right foot, but not able to get it on goal as Matei steals that one away. Has it knocked off his foot. Here comes Lansing. Here's that number 8 for the visitors. Try to cut inside Lumai, and he says absolutely not. Lumai and Delgadice really working in tandem well. Every time they've been kind of put to question this county back line. There's been a teammate there to back him up.
Yeah, they're almost cornering the attackers to not let them.
Del Gadice does really well there on a couple different interception attempts, but it comes back to Lansing. Stevanovic putting in the defensive work as well.
Well done by Braden. We don't see a whole lot of that from him. Typically, he hangs out more toward midfield and really tries to get in behind and stretch things, be the outlet man, but excellent job there getting back on defense.
Since his transfer to Western Michigan University and his time with Chad Wiseman, I think he expects everyone to be digging in there. So that might be some of the influence of his time at as a Bronco, as an assistant on the county bench.
That was Kitman Trent.
Trent had to protect himself with his laptop there. He almost took that one to the chin.
He's looking right into that sun. But he made the play, though. See, that's the thing about Trent. He'll always make the play.
Amongst those who got to apply their trade in the charity TST send-off game. It was cool to see him get some minutes in at a very high level against those guys. And part of the 10th year celebration is County has 3 teams on the field across competitions this year. As there was the TST team, there's obviously the USL2 team and Midwest Premier League 2 team. And Stevanovic feeds it to Direction.
Good
and
save.
That forces a save out of the visiting goalkeeper. Getting closer and closer, County are to the 3rd goal of the game. They've hit high, they've hit to the left, they've hit to the right. No, they've hit it at the goalkeeper. Can they get that decisive 3rd into the back of the goal? Here's Matei. He's got plenty of options. He can spread it wide, and he does. Here's Al-Haznawi. Larson, in the remaining beams of sun, comes into the shadows. Finds Correa, who backheels it to Larson, and the Lansing defender did just enough, but some creative flair being flexed by the men in purple. Left-footed strike, and that had the goalkeeper worried, but not on frame once again. That was Al-Haznawi stepping up from the fullback position to unleash a left footer, I should say.
This is becoming one-way traffic, Rob.
Yeah, Lansing, we're already up against it, being a couple goals down, but getting that second yellow for Castillo made an uphill climb into a bit of a cliff face, and a 3rd goal would certainly put this beyond a reasonable doubt. About half an hour plus some pocket change to go. County intercept that. Larson has space, has options. He goes quick. Direction steps over, left-footed strike, and that one, once again, not on frame. I feel like I could just have some hotkeys and just press that one's wide, that one's left. There's chance after chance for the hometown team not being put on frame. And I'll take this moment to shout out another partner of OCFC, Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Based in Clawson, Michigan, Sabbath Coffee Roasters is renowned for their award-winning small batch specialty coffees that cater to both the connoisseurs and casual drinkers alike. Cup for Everyone philosophy reflects dedication making exceptional coffee accessible to all. Join us in welcoming Sabbath Coffee Roasters to the Oakland County family.
So good. Get there early would be my recommendation because that line gets long.
Down the right-hand side come the visitors, down 2 goals. What can they find here? Blocked by Lumai. Second whack at it. Hits the side netting, and that will be Rob Jelly goal kick. And downtown in that Clawson downtown social district where you might find some county supporters after home games. As that area open to social partaking out in the alley there, located nearby Weiss Distillers.
We've gotten social on an occasion or two.
And anyone can get social here at Oakland County FC games. There's vendors, kids' activities, and plenty of fun stuff for the whole family to do. Both casual and super supporters alike welcome at county games. Just 2 home matches remaining, though. Next Saturday, a big one at the top of the table as the Flint City Bucks come into town for the USL 2 game of the week. And then a bit of a road trip for a while as County looked for that third. That pass was looking for the run of direction, but the Lansing defenders able to snuff that one out before it reached the County leading scorer, who added his 6th in 5 games today.
Yeah, and I think if you're County here, you're really getting to the point where this is starting to get frustrating. You've had a vast majority of possession and a lot of chances to put stuff on net, but haven't really done so.
Lumai and Wilson trying to corral that. Al-Haznawi now to try to get that away. Gets his body in between the attacker and the defender and eventually does clear it out. Just well-rounded and good about just about everything he's asked to do, Al-Haznawi, the number 12. What a turn!
What a turn, no kidding.
And I
It's
think
got to be a yellow card for me. He knew what he was doing by taking that action, and there was no attempt to play the ball, so that's a yellow for me.
looks like we're going to see our first substitutions of the game here as the clock ticks towards 63 minutes gone. And it looks like that's going to be Travis Ward back early from his trip to TST. He was going to go to Florida and take care of some personal business, but so tapped into this Oakland County FC campaign that he came back and made himself available. And he's checking in with about 27 plus stoppage time to go. So reinforcement at the back is the first change that Coach Steve Walker makes here tonight versus Lansing. I'm curious if we're going to see the return of some young players we saw a few minutes of. We got Niam Robinson and Evan Landstrom, who we saw debuts for a few minutes last week. Curious how many minutes they'll get here tonight. And then also a new name on the list promoted from the 2 team, Julian Gibbs. Curious if we're going to see anything from that young man tonight.
I would think so, but I'm sure Steve Walker would love to get that third goal before he makes some of those substitutions, gives his starters a bit of rest. We saw it once the game got out of reach last weekend against Ann Arbor. Direction came off, Larson came off. He's able to work that rotation, and as soon as that third goal comes, I would expect to see the same here tonight.
Here's Direction. Playing it a little bit slower, not quite as direct. Plays in Stevanovic, who has 2 options on the back stick. And that might fall for a County player just out of reach of Larson. Does fall for Correa, who puts it back in towards Direction. But Heisch in the Lansing goal, able to catch that one. Curious how far up the field Lansing are going to try to go, as Larson able to head that into the path of Correa, who finds Direction. And this one's to Stevanovic, but far too close to the goalkeeper. But Larson, Correa, and Direction are really forming some chemistry here. And with that extra space, gives them really the ability to suck in defenders and then spray it wide to Stevanovic, who's uncovered again here on the far side. Correa goes around a few. Here's Stevanovic, and there it is, number 3. Stevanovic with the easiest finish of the day, his second in 2 games, 3-0 to the men in purple.
Yeah,
They've been knocking and knocking and knocking, and they were finally able to get through the door. The third goal brings the purple smoke and a sense of relief. The forwards were starting to get frustrated. They were combining well, could almost get any shot they wanted. Unable to get it on frame in the second half, but there you go. Stevanovic almost sheepishly celebrates that one as he was able to finish in acres of space.
Yeah, he could make no mistake on that one, and we've seen some frustrated figures in the early goings of this second half, about halfway through the second half by now, but County finally able to make that pressure and those chances count as they bust this one open. Now 3-0 to the good.
I'd say Mateo Correa, this is the version of him we were hoping for. Last year, he absolutely walked through the defense there, set that one up, and he's been omnipresent in the attack here today. Really been coming out over the last 6 days and has a shout for today's man of the match.
Yeah, and it was Braden who assisted Mateo on the second goal of the day. So Mateo returning the favor for Braden there.
3-0 in favor of the men in purple, putting them in really good position at the top of the table here in the Great Lakes Division. Got to get that first place. It's that 12-game sprint of a season. Every game matters. You got to think about it like a college football season. Every single game has a huge impact on whether you get a postseason berth. First place, the only guaranteed spot to make the playoffs in this 6-team division. And the second place finisher have to do better than the second place finisher in the Great Forest Division, which features teams from the Cleveland and all greater Ohio area. As here's substitute Travis Ward, very experienced player amongst the older core of players available to Coach Steve Walker this year. Here's Ward all the way up the field, tries to cross it, blocked away. And Lansing tried to bring it the other direction. That one gets just by Matei. And Ward slowing down the Lansing attacker. Have you seen a captain's armband on anyone tonight? Or are they keeping that for Captain Colin, who's away today?
I haven't, but honestly, I don't think that Colin has been wearing it the last 2 games. I've noticed he doesn't really use the armband, so maybe we don't have one. I'm not sure. Although I did see one in the home opener, I remember, so maybe they lost it. I'll ask Trent. Kitman Trent is on the case. One thing about the substitution that we saw, Rob, Romeo Lumai coming out for Travis Ward. Ward now playing right back on this near side, and that has shifted Rocco Del Gudice. 19, you see in the middle of the pitch there, he's now playing center back.
Lansing trying to establish themselves on the ball a little bit. Haven't really gotten much of many extended spells of possession, understandably, down a player for as long as they have. And there is a yellow card to
Naeem Robinson, who snuck in the game. Somehow we missed that substitution, but that was the number 21, Naeem Robinson, who collected that yellow card. It was well-deserved, not a good challenge.
I think Robinson snuck in the goal celebration. He must have come in for Correa, and that assist from Correa, perhaps his final action of the game on the left-hand attacking side. Larson did enough to block that headed attempt and County clear it.
Yep.
Lansing goalkeeper played a bit of a dangerous ball there, but got away with it. But Larson putting Lansing under duress, but doesn't get the luck of the bounce there. He was frustrated. He wanted to spring in on goal there with an empty net, but didn't fall his way. The ball continues to be with Lansing going to our left-hand side. Headed away by Wilson. Popped up. Taken care of by McAleenan. Bit of a mess at the top of the box. Lansing stay with it. Left-footed strike attempt. And appears to have been deflected as County will have to defend another corner here. Time for a second half shout out for title sponsor, Diversified Members Credit Union, your local credit union. Upgrade your life from kitchens, weddings, vacations, and more. Visit the DMCU tent here if you come to a game or at home, dmcu.com for more information. Thank you. As County see the sail over the box. Bit of a mess. A real skirmish there in front of July's goal, but eventually scrambled away.
Those are the nervy moments where that ball can really go anywhere.
There was some players just taking big swings at it and thankfully didn't go into a dangerous area, and July able to casually roll it to his right-hand side toward, excuse me, as there's just a ton of space for County to really just hold the ball. No need to really do a whole lot with it. Take the space that Lansing provides for them. It would take a Herculean effort for Lansing to get a foothold even in this game. And sure, they're looking for a consolation at the very least. This will be the first game that isn't decided by one goal, as the offside flag does come up there. It looked like that was just a shoulder ahead of the last defender. under 20 minutes to go here, 3-0 score line. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves with the one-goal situation, but the visitors have kept it really tight in the opening games of their season so far.
Going to get another water break here, another hydration break here, Rob. So we'll get a couple of minutes for further instruction from both coaching staffs. A little bit of refreshment for those players who are out there on the pitch that is fully shaded now, but still kind of hot out. There's nothing wrong with hydration. I will gladly allow any referee to stop play for a fair shot at everybody to replenish themselves as we wind inside or near 15 minutes to go.
And it's the time of the game for the Miners Den Bling Fling here in the stadium. The
I'll be right
Miners
back,
Den,
Rob.
Yeah, you still need to get yourself a prize. You got to keep your eyes on the prize. The interns here fling customized cases with mystery valued scratch-off to use at the Miners Den, located here locally in suburban Detroit. If you're unfamiliar, Royal Oak, Michigan, about 20 minutes north of Detroit proper. And in, I think, Oakland County, the first or second biggest county in the entire state of Michigan. And Oakland County FC compete in the Great Lakes Division. 6 teams, all located within the state of Michigan, taking on teams such as AFC Ann Arbor, Flint City Bucks, Macomb Union, these aforementioned, and present Lansing City. And then we also got Midwest United in Grand Rapids, who County will play next on the road midweek. And then Kalamazoo round off the division. But we should get to the point of the broadcast where we talk about what's coming up next. A midweek trip to Grand Rapids. We don't quite know where Midwest United is. They've had some mixed results, but they've been a top team in the past. And then the big kahuna here in this kind of midway part of the season, County and the Flint City Bucks. If results hold through the week, there will be a battle for the top spot of the division and the USL2 match of the week. And then County are on the road for most of the rest of the 2026 season as County conclude at home in July. But if you want to get to a County match, next week is your soonest and one of only 2 opportunities remaining in the regular season. So come on out to the Purple Patch of Royal Oak High School Stadium.
And interestingly, Rob, our next 2 opponents, Midwest and Flint, are currently playing. And that game sees Flint up at last check 1-0. So, yeah, measuring stick game for Midwest for sure. And late one, 8 o'clock start out there on Wednesday night.
Long ball looking for the run of Robinson, one of the promising young players here locally as Stevanovic goes across the center of the park. Who can he find? He's got teammates all around him. He goes himself. And that one won't worry the Lansing goalkeeper, Alexander Heitch. As the sun's starting to set, Quickstad Park in the background, starting to get those final rays at the top of the trees. We've been treated to some very nice weather here in this opening 4 out of 5 games here at home in this 2026 USL2 campaign.
Yeah, Rob mentioned it just a minute ago, County fans. It's getting to the point of the season, the latter of the season. It's going to be a lot of road trips, and I know I'll be bouncing around the state. Hope to see you out there as well.
Yeah, on the road in Grand Rapids. I think that's the farthest geographic trip. And
Might be Kalamazoo, depending on where you live.
Yes.
I
Yeah, it's
guess.
pretty similar. At least from the stadium here, I believe Grand Rapids is farther. Is Duraction trying to see it on the end of that. Trying to go around a couple Lansing defenders. Pace of the game starting to wane a bit here. McAleenan with space. He winds up for a long-range shot. Probably not the best use of the ball in this situation as Lansing now come the other way. And Del Gadice able to sniff out the trouble, and that will go out for a very deep throw. And had to kind of track that ball as it was coming awfully close to the corner flag there.
I think he meant to do that, put it there in near the corner flag.
Robinson tried to poke that away from the Lansing player. Combining on the edge of the county box are Lansing. Turn, shot, deflection, wide. And that had some hearts and mouths there for a moment, as that deflection could have led that ball to go anywhere, but it chooses to go around the side of the county goal. But county have to continue their defending if they are to keep a clean sheet here tonight. Only conceded 2 goals on the season, 1 from open play thus far. There's going to be a left-footed in-swinger. Near post, headed away easily. All county players, all 11 in the box to defend that one.
Yeah, and you better believe keeper Rob Jelli and his back line are shifting into that mode where now it's all about keeping that clean sheet. Up with a 3-goal lead. You feel pretty comfortable about the result, but they will certainly want to keep that sheet clean.
Yeah, you were talking in previous games when you're with the lead, you kind of wanted to see things out, and that's what Steve Walker will want for his team here tonight. But here's Stefanovic, cuts inside. He's goal hungry, cuts back, dances, right-footed strike, and that hits the back of the net. That's the second for Stefanovic tonight, the third in 2 games, and he was hungry for more, and he just gobbled them right up. 4-0 Oakland County Football Club.
Yeah, that was one I'll never question effort on the field, but the defenders just not stepping up into a spot to really challenge Stefanovic, and he worked past 1, 2, 3, cut it back, another one, had a shot. I mean, he kind of just had his way there, and it's been that kind of night for Stefanovic. You talked about just the directness that he brings, and he's really put it on display this evening. He gets the ball on the wing. He drives into the middle, opening up things for direction to run off of him in that way, creating space for Larson to drop back and take a layoff pass, or just open things up for Braden to have a rip at goal. That's exactly what happened there. 4-0 County.
I think the look of lifeless legs for Lansing is indicative of the situation that they were put in. At 2 goals down before halftime, they lose a player, you'd say pretty needlessly, to an early red card, and they had a big challenge on their hands, and they've been just absolutely chasing County, and the frustration that was all those missed chances in the first part of the second half, a distant memory as Stefanovic is able to get those pile-on goals to put this one beyond doubt. 4 to the good are County, making up that distance in goal difference to the Bucks, which will play a part later on in the season, you feel.
I was going to say, Rob, I might be squinting a little too hard to read in between the lines, but the way that this second half has gone, and with the man advantage, and seeing as Flint did put up 7 goals against Kalamazoo their last time out, I'm wondering if head coach Steve Walker is taking this opportunity to get some of those goals back, if you will. But as I say that, here come 3 subs. So maybe not looking to really turn the screw and milk this for all that it's worth. But we're going to be getting some substitutions here. I would expect probably Durakshian, Larson, maybe Stefanovic stays on just for a full 90, see if he can get a hat trick. But certainly some changes coming.
Yeah, with 2 games coming up, including a table topping challengers, Flint City Bucks. And here comes Larson. Can he add one? He goes through the goalie's legs, and that's 5 to the good. Purple way on top here tonight in Royal Oak. 5-0 County. Keith Larson got his first last week, and he's been very close throughout the game. He's fed his teammates really nicely. And nice for him to tuck one away. He splits the wickets of the Lansing goalkeeper, makes it 5 for the men in purple.
Clean finish from Larson, and yeah, it's been a little bit of a frustrating day for him. So much of his work is done on the ball in midfield and administering the play, as I like to say, but he's shown that finishing touch in the last 2 games, now 2 goals in his last 2. Substitutions now for County as things wind down here. First one I see coming off there is Braden Stefanovic. It looks like Mushtaba Al-Hasnawi has come off as well. Maurice Muller, the one jogging on here.
He's seen plenty of
Tall.
activity. He played a full 90 last night for the Midwest team, right?
Yeah, he was out there last night in Livonia playing for the 2 team, so pulling double duty. Quick foul there will give the ball back to County, but series of substitutions, still trying to keep up with all of those.
New right back, number 20, Evan Landstrom, amongst the new players.
20 Evan Landstrom checks in for County.
And he plays it back to Del Gadice and then gets in his way a little bit. Chases this one down, trying to prevent it going into touch. And A for effort there as he's able to get to the ball and bank it off the Lansing player's shin.
I think we've got a debutante as well, as I believe that's Julian Gibbs in 14 on the far side there.
That one just bounces off of the foot of number 21, Niam Robinson, amongst the newcomers to the field. Surprised to see Durakshian. He really wants as many minutes as he can get with the game out in Grand Rapids on Wednesday. Thought that maybe he would be conserved, but it seems like every question of depth has had an answer up until this point into this first half. And Coach Steve Walker confident with playing his number 9, the full length of the match. Here's Muller. It's Ward. McAleenan.
Just getting back up to speed here, Rob. I think I've got my arms around those 3 substitutions. It's Mushtaba Al-Hasnawi, Marco Matse, and Keith Larson coming out. In for those 3 will be Maurice Muller, Evan Landstrom, and Julian Gibbs.
All right. Debut for Gibbs, another new entrant into the list of playing alumni. Here come the Young County players. And that one, a little bit of a grab after losing the ball. Evan Landstrom tried to go it alone. Didn't quite work out for him that time. He had the run of Robinson with him. A couple very young players there, as the referee doesn't like something about the restart here from Lansing, and frustration turns into an official caution as we saw some heads go down from this Lansing side, and really everything's been against them here. The score and going down a man so early in the game, an awfully big challenge for any team. But this team was just starting to build a little bit of confidence. They've been involved in a lot of close games, haven't got all the results they wanted, but they were in with a shout at every game until this one. 5-0, by far their worst tally in the first half of this USL 2 season. And Muller tried to go wide there to the new left-sided attacker. Great change of pace there. Is that Gibbs? Cutting through a bunch, draws a foul. Here's Durakshian. Durakshian, super unselfish from him. He tried to feed one of his young teammates on the back stick, and the referee bringing it back for a foul earlier in the game. That's Julian Gibbs dancing around on his debut. Got around a few, got the whistle. Surprised he got the whistle after Durakshian was in on goal there, but the referee brings it back, and County have another chance going for a half a dozen here.
Yeah, County got the benefit of getting that advantage and then also getting this free kick. You don't often see that. A couple of curious refereeing decisions. That last yellow card that was given to Liam Zimmerman for that free kick snafu. I don't generally agree with that decision either, but won't complain about it.
Marco Matei in amongst the man of the match contestants, but this is a right-footed strike from Durakshian that time. He got his 6th goal of the campaign earlier to maintain his status as the leader on the team. Curious after all the weekend's results to see if how far up the ladder nationally that puts him. But Oakland County with players in the team of the month, and then up to number 12 in the nation in the USL2 power rankings, 12th out of 150 plus sides is nice to see, but not the end goal. County want playoffs. In their 10th season, looking for their first playoff bid. They were Milk Cup champions a few years back, their first trophy win, but looking for some accolades in the USL2.
Still looks like it is 1-0 Flint over Midwest in other action around the division.
Here's some speed down the left-hand side. I think that's Gibbs. Looking for direction. Only finds a defender that time, though. And that outlet pass loose and out into touch into the bench area of County. And I think the sun has set here at the Purple Patch of Royal Oak High School Stadium, the home of Oakland County FC once again. But the sun definitely has set on Lansing City's efforts here tonight. But County didn't get too frustrated as the floodlights kick back on here. It's getting a little dark here.
Yeah, did we not think we were going to need the lights tonight? Normally they have them.
We are getting near the equinox,
before.
to be fair. I mean, it is pretty bright, pretty late here in Michigan this time of the year. But, yeah, the lights just now really kicking into full swing. They just wanted to get us ready for our post-game interviews down on the field. They want us to be well lighted. So I guess as we're in the waning moments, be sure to check out the Oakland County FC social media pages and YouTube. The team has been putting together some great shoulder content, long-range effort. Hits the back of the net. Golazo! Oakland County FC, one of the county young guns, put the icing on the cake. 6-0. Oakland County take a bow. Nian Robinson, what a banger. What a first goal. And the County fans will go home happy. 6-0 to the men in purple.
There's your shot of the match, Rob. The Weiss Distillery shot of the match has to be this power strike, this thunderbolt from Niam Robinson from way far out. Nobody closed him down because they didn't think he would have the gumption to even take that on. My goodness, what a finish.
Robinson plays collegiately at Howard University. He's from Detroit, and he stamped a mark here in Royal Oak. What a way to introduce yourselves to the Elmwood Elite and the Oakland County faithful. 6-0 County, and this may well be the biggest and most lopsided USL2 result in Oakland County history.
I remember a 5-0, but I can't recall a 6-0. We are on the brink of it here.
And in any league, I don't believe County has ever been 5-0. So into uncharted territory. Can't wait to our post-game conversation with Coach Walker, see what he has to say about this. An amazing feat to get to 5-0, starting to get some recognition nationally and seeing them hit on all cylinders here, his team. But a big week ahead. That trip to Grand Rapids, and then welcoming in the imperious Flint City Bucks here at home. Anyone in the area that's got a taste for local football, be here as Oakland County FC take on the Flint City Bucks next week here in Royal Oak. But tonight, we celebrate, if you have purple in your heart, one of the biggest results in club history. Oakland County FC 6-0 to the good. To the short-handed Lansing City football, who get some consolation from Romeo Lumai and some other players. They look distraught. Tough night for the visitors and a long ride home. But the goal scorers tonight for the men in purple, the main man, number 9, Andrew Durakshian, opened this thing open in the 34th minute. A beautiful header did the trick. And just 7 minutes later, that man, Mateo Correa, with another floater from the same spot as last week, made it 2-0 ahead of the break. But in the second half, the floodgates opened. A pair from Braden Stevanovic, one from Larson, and then young Nian Robinson, in only his second appearance in a dozen minutes altogether, made it 6-0 County. Wowee, what a match we just saw.
Wow, 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 wow. 6 wows. I mean, I can't remember a performance quite like that from County. Everything was working. Even when the breaks weren't going our way early in that second half, chance after chance not being converted, the boys did not hang their heads. They just kept plugging away. I'm very curious to hear what head coach Steve Walker is going to nitpick about tonight. There's always something that you feel you could do better, but it's really hard to identify on a night like tonight.
All right, can't emphasize it enough. Only 2 home games remain on the schedule here for the regular season. Next Saturday here, Oakland County FC hosts the Flint City Bucks. And again, the final game of the season, OCFC hosts Midwest United on July 10th. So come on down to the purple patch here you've seen on screen. Royal Oak, Michigan is the spot for your undefeated Oakland County Football Club. Tune in to social media for Oakland County FC. There's going to be plenty of shoulder content from highlights, all the goals of May, and in post-game comments from Coach Steve Walker, and at least tonight's player of the game. So for Mitch Gatzke, the OCFC Stream Team, I'm Robert Kerr. Everybody, be safe, be brave, bleed purple, and enjoy your soccer.
Up the County.